What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Make Your Own Luck Mondays. And again, this is a web series that I do here where I pick topics on personal finance, wealth creation, and investing, and basically just try to break them down and make them as simple as possible to understand. So this week, I'm going to take you guys through my entire stock portfolio, which is pretty cool. I'm going to show you every single stock that I do, all my ETFs, mutual funds, everything, ticker by ticker. I'm going to show you at the end of the video. But first, I'm going to show you a quick screen share of basically what my strategy has been from the end of 2019 until now. So what has happened all through the pandemic, what my strategy was, and how I basically have outperformed the market by over 12%. So let's check that out, and then we'll check out my individual stocks at the very end. All right, so like I was saying before, here's a look at my portfolio, and I use Personal Capital for net worth tracking. They do everything else as far as, banking and wealth management and investing and robo-advising, but I just load in everything, all of my brokerage accounts, all of my bank accounts, and I just do net worth tracking on here. And it's a good place to check out individual performance as well as blended performance. So basically how I'm doing versus the market and all that. So as you can see in orange, this is the S&P 500. The last close was, just under 3,300. And then my index here is in blue. So I took out all the dollars and all that stuff just because, but I'll show you guys basically some percentage stuff, as well as the reason I wanted to show you this timeline was, why I don't sell stocks when things start going crazy and why I buy stocks when things start selling off. So as you can see here, I did this kind of timeline out the end of last year, 2019 till now. And this is just basically to show you kind of the S&P 500 and the stock market itself was just in its slow growth that it normally is always in. There's, some blips here and there, but it does that slow growth. The average over time historically for the S&P 500 has been 9.8% returns, which is great. So you can see it was kind of doing its thing, and then the pandemic hit and it completely sold off to almost a 30% sell-off of the market, which is awful. And why I wanted to show you this and kind of in a visual manner is there was a lot of people that, as things were getting crazy, they got scared and they started selling parts of their portfolio, or they saw it going down more and they sold more, and then they saw it going down more and they sold all of it. And there's a lot of people that sold their entire life savings or their retirement funds and all this at, a 30% loss plus, fees and all these other things that, they go along with that. And, I feel awful for people that did that because 3 months later, we were right back to normal. So, I bring that up because, that's the reason that I buy and hold stocks, and then I buy them when they're undervalued. So my mentality when all of this stuff was happening in the pandemic, I was buying aggressively. I was buying aggressively at 10%, at 20%. I just bought. And it was basically all of my core holdings that, I do a lot of research with stocks, but I was buying the S&P 500 index, and I was buying my core dividend blue chip companies that I know aren't going anywhere. And so I put in a bunch of money here, and then, we came back to normal. And then, I was able to, get into some tech stocks and different things like that I did a little bit more swing trading with versus, my normal core, just buy and hold and never sell. But, as you look down here, just, a couple weeks ago, my index in my portfolio was up almost 26%. The S&P 500 was up 14%. So really cool that I'm able to, my portfolio is outdoing what the market's doing. And we have a little bit of a sell-off going on here, but again, this creates more buying opportunities for me. And the reason I'm showing you guys this is, when people see the sell-off, they think they should get out of stuff, or they're scared, or they're losing money. My mindset is that anytime we're selling off is a buying opportunity. So I'm going to buy again now. I bought a bunch here and then, let it go up, and I bought some here. I buy on these dips. So I just wanted to give you a visual of what that looks like, and so that you have the opportunity to change your mindset when you're looking at stocks, when you're looking at the market, when you're looking at investing. It's pretty corny to say buy low, sell high, but that's the deal. And for me, I sell very rarely. I sold Tesla, half of my Tesla and a third of my Apple right after the split, just because it responsibly made sense because of the amount of gains that I had.
But other than that, I buy stocks with the mindset of not wanting to sell them. I want to buy them, and then when they go on sale, when things happen, as long as it's not detrimental to the company, that it's like really affecting their business, I will just keep buying. When there's a deal, I keep buying. I keep buying, and it's worked out for me. So I just wanted to give you guys a visual of that.
So hopefully that helped out there, just to give you an idea of what my strategy was going through the pandemic and kind of my overall strategy in general as it comes to stocks. But that being said, I'm going to show you guys now all of my individual stocks, and you can check out some of those tickers and go do the research on your own. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not some finance pro. This is just my strategy. This is what I do. This is what works for me. So maybe some of this stuff will work for you. Maybe it won't. But here is all of my individual stocks, everything I got going on.
All right, so what we're seeing here is my portfolio. So this is every single one of my stocks, my ETFs, mutual funds, all that stuff, everything that I invest in. And I didn't have really a good way to not show all the dollar amounts and all that stuff, so I just put this little Word doc up here. But the main reason I wanted to show you this was so that you guys could see the companies that I'm investing in, and you could, take any of these tickers and go put them into a chart, and get some information to see maybe they're overbought and you don't want to get in there, or oversold. But good opportunities for you to look at some of the companies that I'm invested in for the long term, and then I've had for years. So as we go through, these are your usual suspects: Apple and Tesla and different things like that. Delta I bought right after the big sell off there, basically when Warren Buffett sold all his, is when I bought in, and that's done really, really well. I just recently got into CRM, Salesforce. It was at a little bit of a discount, but Facebook and all these good tech companies that I've had for Twitter and whatnot. And there's just a bunch here. I'm not going to go through all of them individually, but I want you guys to just be aware of kind of what I'm investing in, and you can go do some research on your own. Store Capital is a REIT. So if you don't know what a REIT is, it's a real estate investment trust. You can go and educate yourself on that. It's not doing very well right now, but that being said, there's all different sectors, all different things. I'm in the consumer goods area with Procter and Gamble. I'm in healthcare, banking, oil, restaurants, and these core holdings like Coca-Cola, AT&T. These are things that I've had for a long time. And again, I buy stocks and with the approach that I'm going to keep them forever. Probably the biggest mistake here was getting into these canopy growth stocks. I bought them high, and I basically have their ETF and or their index and their normal stock, and it's doing couldn't be doing any worse. But outside of that, the rest of it has been really, really good. So I'm diversified as far as my individual holdings. I got some gold in there as well. But then I do ETFs. So, you got to have your standard SPY. I invest in the SPY every single month, no matter what. So I do a dollar cost average where, whether it's high, low, up, down, sideways, it doesn't matter. I put money in that every single month. And then I have some of my other ETFs that I have here, the iShares. This is on sustainable companies, and that's a good ETF to take a look at if you care about companies that are doing things good for the environment and all that stuff. And then, of course, all my normal growth stock mutual funds and different things like that I have. So there's a bunch there that you can take a look at. Again, any of these tickers that I have on my ETFs or on my individual stocks, you can type those in and check them out and do some research on the companies and see if they'd be a good buy for you. But again, I've had some of these holdings for a really long time, so I bought them a long time ago when they were a lot cheaper, and they've grown over time, which is great. But again, just kind of where I'm at as far as diversification, the types of companies that I invest in, and you guys can go out and do the research on your own to see if they would be a good buy for you. But just wanted to give you a snapshot on what my portfolio looks like.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's Make Your Own Luck Mondays. Thank you guys for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing and all that other fun stuff. We will see you next week. Later.